In today's tutorial we're going to do part 2 and the final of the garden flower shawl. We now have our motifs done. What do we need to do now to put all of these motifs together to make a shawl? That's coming up next. Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd as well as Yarnspirations.com. This is part 2 of a 2-part series, and we have already explored how to do the garden flower shawl. We've done the motifs together. I did a different version on camera, but off camera I've been working with the Bernat Dimensions yarn. This is a brand new yarn that you can see here. It has a lot of great texture into it, thin and thick yarn inside, as well as a fabulous colorway. And I did my entire shawl like this. I did 39 motifs, but now it's time to put it together to make the beautiful shawl that you see within the pattern. Today I'm going to be taking you through the pattern itself to be able to do the final round, to be able to put it together, and I have done a little bit of a diagram work in order for you to be able to follow along as well. So let's quickly step back in time just for a few seconds. We've already done this motif. There is another video available where we did it. Now this is not showing the joining part of this. So here's the diagram of what it looks like. It does not come down to a point, and there's 39 of these. Now it's up to us to start joining it, and it has green and red directions. So what we're going to be doing is that we're going to be starting on the one side and then working our way and joining as we go individually. So we're going to be doing the very first one. The first one doesn't join to anything because there's nothing to join onto, and then once we get onto the second, then we start joining. But there is a technique to joining here that I really want to show you, and that's why I did the diagram just like you see over there. To help me teach this better, I decided to take a few copies of the motif that you've already done. So these are what these are right here. So what I want to show you here is that we're going to start off on the one corner just like so, and we're going to go all the way around, but there's nothing to attach to because you can only attach if it has an actual border round to it. So the first one is going to have a border onto its own, and then once we get that, then we can start joining as we go, as you being able to work along within the diagram. Now the joining process is exceptionally easy. We're going to start off with the slip stitch right in the very top, and then we're going to single crochet in, and then we're going to chain 3 and single crochet back into the point. We're going to chain 5, and then we're going to single crochet right in between the 2 single crochets that are in between the petals, and then chain 5, single crochet right into the end, and then chain 3 and single crochet. Now when we get to a point where it's going to start joining to a neighbor, and this is not on the very first one, but this is for every one that exists after the first one. When we get to a point, we're going to single crochet, chain 1, single crochet to the neighbor, chain 1, and then single crochet back into the point. Once you get that done, you're going to chain 5 and come back down, and then you're going to chain 5, and then you're going to single crochet into the first one, chain 1, single crochet to the neighbor, and chain 1 and single crochet back into this original one here, and then we just keep on going all the way around. So the more times that you're running into your neighbors is the more times that you're going to have to do that. But here's the tip. These particular motifs never attach to any motifs twice. So this motif will never attach in between here. So every point is uniquely going to sit with each other. So if I look at it from this point of view here, when I go to join it, they're either going to sit like this, okay, and so then basically the next one that's going to join down will be on the very bottom. So it'll be down over here. So when we look at it here, we have the join just like here. These ones here are going to come down to this one, and this one is down to this one. So this is working into a point down in the bottom, so you'll notice that they'll kind of be sitting together diagonally, but each petal only touches its neighbor once, and so that makes it really easy to follow. So I'm going to teach you how to be able to do this pattern right now, and let's get started. So I'm using my Bernat Dimensions. I decided that I was using a 5.5mm crochet hook, a size H today, and I'm just going to start off with a slip knot because that's the way I like to start off, and I like to put that on my hook. So I'm just going to grab another one, and I notice I have this color here, so I'm going to go with the darker color that is on here. And all I want to do is that I want to look for the chain 1 space that's right in the point of the pattern. So I'm just going to look for it and just insert my hook, grab both yarn strings, the tail and the one running to the yarn, just pull it through, and that does a nice secure attach for you. So let's begin. We're going to start off, and we're just going to immediately single crochet back into that same spot, and then we're gonna chain 3. So 1, 2 and 3, and then we come back into that same spot for a single crochet. So this is the very first one. We're not attaching it to any on this entire round. So now that you have that done, you're gonna chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and then you just come down and you look and you go right in between the two single crochet spaces. So you don't go into an actual stitch, you just go right in between the spaces just like so, and single crochet and then chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and then just come to the next point. Okay, this is next point, and you're gonna single crochet, chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, and then coming back in single crochet. So then what we're gonna do is that we're going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then just again coming in between the two single crochets down at the in between the petals for a single crochet, and then chain 5. That's all this is. And then coming back to the top of the point. Just wanna make sure I get everything there, and then that's a single crochet, chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, and then coming in. So this chaining 3 space that we're doing at the points is what we're going to be using for attaching to the neighbor once we get rolling on this particular item. So what I want you to do is continue this one all the way around, and then when you're done this one, we're gonna start back up the next one and just be able to show you how to be able to start attaching to your neighbor, and it's actually really simple at that. So I'm coming up all the way back around. I gotta make sure I chain my 5 before I attach 3, 4 and 5, and we just attach it to the beginning single crochet that we started with. So this is the very first one done, and it's not attached to anything because you need to have it starting first, and I need you to fasten off really nicely with this. So make sure that you use a darning needle to hide in your loose ends. This is gonna be an elegant shawl, so you're gonna want to take care of all the little pieces if you've done so just like this. So what I would do is just take this little piece, and what I'm gonna do for the remainder of this is that I'm just gonna grab my darning needle. I'm gonna insert it in, and I just want to insert it into the stitch work quite nicely through, and if you go back and forth 3 times you can really hide in this piece really nicely in there. Now because of the way that I joined it with the slip stitch, or sorry, the slip knot on the hook first, you're gonna find that you can actually kind of trim that end that's kind of hanging off. So I'm gonna do that. Okay, and I'm gonna get this other one because that's where I started, because the way that I joined, and then this is the original one because I weaved it in already. So this is what I have at this point, and now you can see it's much bigger than the other one was, and now it's time to begin to join to the neighbor. We're now gonna start joining to our neighbor, and what I recommend is that we're gonna start in the upper corner, and then we're gonna join, and we're gonna keep going. So you see the green arrows keeps going across, and so you just wanna keep going in sequence. It makes it a lot easier not to be able to get lost in this pattern is if you start just joining it anywhere. So if you know that the next ones have to join side by side, if you look at the diagram here, you're gonna notice that 2 petals will actually attach to each other when you're going all the way across. And so basically it's not until you get to the next level where the upper levels here, they begin to reach across to 2. So this one will go to this one will go to this one, but these ones still attach to the neighbor with 2 joins whenever it's going side by side. So let's grab our yarn and let's start up the next one. So let's keep our motif handy. We're gonna do that, but we're not gonna play with that one immediately. We're gonna start off first and just do a slip knot onto my hook. This is the way that I prefer to join. It just makes me feel more secure. So I'm just looking for a point, any point, it doesn't matter, and we're just gonna insert in, grab both of the strands, go around and through to join. Just like this. So we're immediately just going to single crochet. So we're just gonna do exactly what we already know. Single crochet into that spot first to start, chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, and then come into the same spot. So I would do the first one like this one without really joining anything to the neighbor at this point. Because of the way that we're going in sequence, all sides will never ever be done at the same time. So I would just start off the first one like this. We're now going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and then come back down into the center between the 2 single crochets for a single crochet, and then chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and then come back to the top of the next point and single crochet first. So why not, let's get it done. So let's not just go around and, you know, procrastinate. Let's get it done. So we're gonna chain 1 first, and then we're gonna come and just grab any one of the points, and it's a chain 3 point, and just go around inside the actual loop itself, and just single crochet that into just single crochet that together, and then chain 1, and then come back to the original one that I just started and single crochet. Okay, so let's, and you got to make sure when you do this, you got to make sure that your front sides are facing, so the right sides are up. Okay, so don't get confused by that. So let's go and keep moving along. So we're just gonna chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm back on the original one that I've just started a few seconds ago, and I'm just gonna single crochet in between this 2 single crochets, chain 5 again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, making my way back to the point. So we want to go into the point first for a single crochet, chain 1, and then I want to go on the next one, the other one that's available. I'm gonna take out my hook just to demonstrate. So I want to go into my next one, and when I go to do it, I'm going to go to the next available petal. Okay, so I've already chained my 1, and I just want to go into the chain 3 loop like so, pull it through and single crochet that, chain 1, and then come back down onto this one that we just started. So now we officially have joined the 2 spots together. So let me take out my hook so you can see that the 2 are now together just like this pattern. So now what it means is that I can simply just go around and just single crochet or just continue to go the pattern as normal. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I can actually fasten off, and then I can just keep joining to my neighbor as I go. So the only difference is that when you're moving up to a different layer, so for example, say we get all these done across, so we have all these done, so what you're gonna need to do is that when you go to do this one, you're going to attach slightly differently than what you did before. So for example, this next one, that when you go to do it, you're gonna be attaching to diagonally here as well as here. Okay, so basically when you go to do this one here, you're gonna be attaching here and here. So you're basically just building on top of each other, and basically if you just keep going in sequence like it shows in the photo, you don't have to join too many at one time, and it will all work out, and it actually does an amazing job. So continue to do that. This is just a very simple idea. It does a great job, and when I'm gonna get this done off camera, and then I can finally have this on display as well. And this has been a really easy pattern to work with. Really quite enjoyed it, and until next time, I'm Mikey on behalf of Yarnspirations as well as the crochetcrowd.com. Good luck. I'd love to see your photos posted on Facebook, by the way. So if you get it done, just show us a photo.